What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing another video today. It is time for our week 3 predictions for Major 2. Apologies on this video coming up late this week, but let's dive in. I'm going to give you my predictions for the weekend. Interesting set of matches. Down to 2 match Fridays for this one, so interesting on that, but there are some good ones to talk about this week. Some bangers across some top teams playing each other, so let's take a look. All right, so I did a pretty good job last week up until the last 2 match days, and honestly, the last 2 matches, honestly, Boston and Rocker was a toss-up. And FaZe in New York, I had FaZe in that one game 5. That one was pretty close. So I think in general, I think I did pretty good last week. But let's dive in and take a look at the predictions for this week. I still have one of my boosts to use, so I think we may use it this week here. So let's take a look at our matches for Friday. Atlanta FaZe versus Rocker to kick things off. So I looked this one up. FaZe has not lost back-to-back online matches in a particularly long time. It didn't happen the last year, and the Rocker team is coming off a really tough stretch here. I mean, you guys know I've complained a lot on my stream about the scheduling and the unbalanced scheduling and why I think it should be round robin, and I think the Rocker team is a good example of that, because coming off of sort of them getting top 4 at the major, they had to play Toronto, OPTIC, Boston, and FaZe in that order, which is insane because some other teams have way easier schedules. And the fact of the matter is, whatever. I'll rant on it online, but I just think Rocker got screwed by schedule. Either way, they're coming off of 3 tough Game 5 losses, and they're going to play a FaZe team that I think is a very difficult matchup for Rocker because there's a lot of overlap in the map pool. A hard point. Both teams like to play Invasion. Both teams like to play Skid Row, Rio. And then in the S&Ds, I just think FaZe is not going to want to potentially play them on Karachi or High Rise, and they're just going to take out the good maps for Rocker. So I really think that Rocker might steal one, maybe like a map 1 in this series if FaZe takes Team B. But I think at best this one goes 4, and even if it goes 5, I think FaZe take it 5, and another tough one for Rocker. Now, this one, I don't want to waste too much oxygen on. Toronto versus Seattle. Now, this could be a trap game. The fans have it pretty lopsided to Toronto, and you would think based on current form, and you see the recent record with these teams. Seattle did win in the spring last year, but they faced up a couple times since then, and Toronto's 9-0 map count. Obviously across a couple different teams, but my point is that Seattle is reeling right now. I'm not a fan of Seattle in this stage in this matchup, and I'll be honest with you, I do think this is kind of a trap game. Now, am I going to use my boost right now? We scroll down and take a look at week 4 and week 5. Are there some matchups maybe you want to save it for? Let's keep scrolling. Yeah, there are a couple I think we can save it for, so I'm gonna go ahead and hold on that because I can see this one being close, but I'm also going to predict around 3-0. The reason I don't want to use my boost for this one, actually, I take that back. We are going to use the boost. You know what? Screw it. We're going to use the boost. We'll get it out of the way. I think the likelihood of Seattle being competitive in this series is not particularly high. Obviously, it's a trap game. Like if Toronto just kind of phone it in versus any team in the league, you never know. But the way that Toronto's playing right now, cruise control, the way Seattle's playing right now, they can't win a response. If their lives, this one could be a bad combo. And I honestly think there's a world generally where both these matches end very quickly and we're done by 5 p.m. Today. So anyway, about that, we have Boston versus Vegas to kick things off on Saturday. So this is an interesting one. Generally, when I see 2 teams like this who are both 2-1 going into a matchup, I go by who's probably the better S&D team right now. Currently at the moment, Vegas, Boston during this stage is 1-3 in S&D, and Vegas right now, if I scroll over on my other tab, is 2-2 in search. So it is pretty close in the game modes. Vegas does look to have improved on the control aspect, having won on High Rise and on Invasion. This so far the split, but obviously their caliber of opponent, in my eyes, playing teams like Miami compared to some of the top teams, Boston's had a little bit more of a difficult schedule. I don't know if I want to read too much in a 3 series like that. Boston's been pretty good at hard point though, which could trouble Vegas if Boston take map 1 and map 2. There's a Vegas crumble there. I'm going to take Boston game 5. I would love for this one to end, or feel like I can predict for this one to end before 5, but just with these 2 teams, I don't know. I think they're going to battle, and Boston to me is a team that I think will come out on top, but I'm not super confident, honestly, about this one. I think Vegas has played decent down the stretch, but Boston, the last game 5 impressed me. All right, Carolina versus OPTIC Texas. I think I'm going to take OPTIC Texas 3-0 in this one. The Carolinas look decent during this split so far, only losing to New York and to Boston, but they had a pretty good one against Seattle. I just think this is a talent mismatch for them. And I think OPTIC's going to handle this one pretty clean. Obviously, it's always an OPTIC. They have shown times this year, though, that they do sometimes take a while to settle in the series, and so might sprinkle a map 1 bet on this series, to be honest, when we see the map pool. All right, Seattle versus LAG. Ew. LAG have looked terrible this stage. I'm not really going to sugarcoat it. Against Vegas and OPTIC, didn't look like they were going to win either series, and they have New York and FaZe coming up later in this split, so it's going to be an ugly one, a bloodbath, I think, for LAG at this stage. I'm curious what the fans have it. 64-36 with Seattle. The one problem I have with this matchup is that as bad as I think Seattle has played in respawns, I feel like in a game 5 I would trust them more than I would trust LAG. So I think LAG are going to win this one. They got to get it done before 5 because we get to the 5th map, and I don't know with Seattle. I mean, even you saw in like a terminal search, guys are still good at search. The other game modes, That's why I think maybe Seattle take map 2 in this series and LAG just went 3 respawns. But this one could be a surprising one and maybe a points opportunity for Seattle if they really take advantage of the searches in this one, or they catch LAG on a bad day. Speaking of bad days, New York versus Miami to kick things off on Sunday. It has been horrible in the Miami camp. I mean, they are on a 6-game slide right now and going back to the major, and playing New York is a tough way to continue that. I just cannot in good conscience pick the Miami Heretics right now. They have lost a couple of game 5s back-to-back between Vegas and Thieves. They did pick up a map against FaZe, but they got 3-0'd by Toronto. So I'm going to give Miami a map. But I just cannot in this situation just pick Miami considering the losing streak. They're going to probably have their next opportunity against Carolina to really pick up at least 10 points during this stage. But I think they're going to go like 1-6, man, maybe 0-7 during the stage. It might be really ugly for them. And here is a banger, Toronto versus FaZe. Teams have played a lot over the years. I mean, this has been a very common matchup between these teams. They generally battle particularly well, but Toronto has played them now twice this year, both on Sunday at the major, and beat them. And I just think right now, with the way that FaZe's hardpoint is, which is can be a little bit 50-50 and a little bit of vulnerability in search, I think I'm going to take Toronto in a game 5 between these teams. They'll trade maps, but I think I have more faith in Toronto to clutch up game 5 in this one. But as always with Toronto FaZe, these are two very good teams, and I think they're going to battle a lot this year, including probably in winners finals or at some point on Sunday between these two teams at the major. And then last up, and this is a big matchup for both these teams because I predicted Rocker to lose to FaZe, so they desperately need points. Thieves, inexplicably because of this stupid ass scheduling, has only played 2 games so far, and will have played their 3rd now by the time we complete this match, which is ridiculous to me. So basically, Thieves, the way the scheduling has worked out for Thieves is they play 1 match the first week, 1 match the second week, 1 match the third week, and then 2 on the 4th week and 2 on the 5th week. I don't get the scheduling at all for this, and whatever. I think it's dumb. Anyway, Thieves versus Rocker. To me, I feel like this is a matchup that Rocker should be able to get points because I'm just not convinced by this Thieves team. They barely beat Miami, and I don't think Miami are very good. I think this Thieves team sucks at control right now. And I think Rocker will run circles around them in that game mode, even though I just think that, potentially might get a Karachi square up if it makes it in the series. I don't know. But I cannot really pick Thieves because the respawn, the S&D, Dan Gosi at the hard carry them map 5. I think Rocker get this one in 4, maybe 5, maybe 3, to be honest. I'm not convinced by Thieves right now from what we've seen through 2 games, and the schedule hasn't been kind to them, but I can see Rocker getting back in the win column with this one. Yeah, these are the predictions. Just to recap, I think day 1 is going to be a snooze. I think day 2, actually, with the first and last match, could be very good if these go the distance. I don't know if the Call of Duty is going to be amazing, but it could go the distance. And then on Sunday, I think the last 2 matchups could be good. If Toronto and FaZe both bring their A game, that one could be great. And Thieves and Rocker, if Thieves actually play good, I think that one could be a banger. But Miami and New York, to be honest, each day has got kind of a snooze. New York and Miami, just don't see it for Miami. Don't see it for Carolina versus OPTIC, although obviously OPTIC can start slow. And then Toronto versus Seattle. I mean, the only way I think Seattle has a chance in this is if they catch Toronto just absolutely sleepwalking in this match. And I don't really think they're going to. Those guys are fairly professional. So those are my predictions, as you see, for week 3. All right, so let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the video. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more. And as always, guys, we will see you on the next one.